Hi everyone, Michelle here. And today I would love to talk with you about one of my favorite tools on the path to conscious awakening, which is muscle testing. Some of our most profound spiritual teachers of our time, Adyashanti, Eckhart Tolle, the list goes on, use inquiry as one of the most powerful key aspects of the awakening experience. And because of its strong ability to be able to tap into our subconscious and really bring those unconscious belief systems that are running our lives to the light. So one of the beauties of muscle testing is it gives a very clear feedback system with the subconscious that is much more discerning than sometimes our brain is. As to what we think is true or not true. It's amazing the things that come out of our subconscious that you would have no idea that are really true until you very much feel them and go, oh gosh, that actually is true for me. So the muscle testing is this beautiful feedback loop that I have just found in my life and in the lives of my clients has really amplified the ability to awaken to the higher truth. So today we're going to focus on muscle testing specific to the subconscious. Now there are ways to use muscle testing that even go beyond just the subconscious. You can move into exploration with your higher self, exploration with your guides, with angels, anything in the non-physical that is here to help you. Akashic records, all kinds of amazing things. And we'll get into that in future videos and calls. But today I really just want to focus on the subconscious because there's so much rich material right there. And it's a good place to start. So with the subconscious, one of the beautiful things is you can, even in the subconscious, test much more than just your childhood. Belief systems that were created when you were very little, conclusions of a 5-year-old about how the world works that are still playing out in your experience now, unbeknownst to you, and causing you to respond in ways that sometimes baffle you as much as anybody else or more. But you can also tap into past lives. You can also tap into genetic patterns of belief. And even into societal patterns of belief, because all of that is stored in your subconscious, which is pretty amazing. So we're going to do 2 different techniques today. Primary one that I just find is the most helpful, and then there'll be a secondary one as well that is pretty popular and people really like. But what I want to emphasize most when you think about doing muscle testing, it's really more energetic testing of the body. It's a whole body experience. So you can muscle test anywhere in your body. I had a chiropractor who would muscle test using the back of my neck. And there's all kinds of different ways that can work. But the 2 we'll use today are specifically for working with yourself. There are ways to work with other people. That's one of the more popular, well-known one is using your arm. But today we'll pick ones that you can do anywhere. You can be sitting in the grocery line, nobody even noticing, and you're muscle testing away, learning all kinds of things about yourself. I do it in the shower, I do it everywhere, all day, whenever there's inquiry that I want to explore, because one of the big parts about the integrative soul work model, and most of the models on the path to awakening, is making it a everyday, minute-by-minute experience of awakening to the truth of who you are, not the story that was dropped into you by family, by society, by the chaos that is our world at times, or at least perceived chaos. Again, belief. So the first one that I would love to teach you about is just a very simple technique you can use with your hands. Now, it's important before you start any muscle testing that you just set your intention, because the body is going to respond to your intention. Remember, we're vibrational beings at core. So you want to set the intention that, for in this case, that your body will go strong, feel strong. There'll actually be a strength in your muscles when you want to feel a yes answer. And then when you want to feel a no answer, your body will actually feel a little bit weak. Now you can actually feel this without even doing any muscle testing physically, just by closing your eyes and saying yes and no. And I really encourage you to do that. Get familiar with your body. But it helps amplify it by just taking your fingers, and I'll just show you here. Pinky I find is the easiest. And then you take your other two fingers, I'm left-handed so you can do the opposite if need be for you, and put it inside here, and then start to try to pull away. For a yes, it will start to pull, and it'll be hard to move them apart. You don't have to work very hard at this, just a very slight one, and you'll feel it. It's pretty hard to pull away. If it's a no, I've already set that intention, right? It's going to be very weak. It's very easy for me to pull those apart. One of the things that affects people a lot when they try to learn this technique is they try really hard to hold tight and hold it in place. And I don't encourage that, actually. We want to be very in tune with our bodies and intuitively feel that difference too, out of our heads, very much out of your head into your body. So don't think about what's the right answer. In fact, I encourage you to use questions of things that you have no idea what the answer is, but your body will. And we can talk about that in future videos. But in general, again, yes. And it's pretty hard for me to pull that apart. And I'm not working very hard at all. And no. Okay? So this is a great feedback tool. Another thing to understand here is that it's a spectrum. Okay? So it's not yes and no like a exact switch, light switch that goes on off. It's like a dimmer switch. So there may be some things in the subconscious that are a kind of yes for you. There may be ones that are kind of a no. You may do some clearing work with me and find that it's less strong than it was, but it's still not quite sure, right? That it hasn't fully let go. And so I may have to do another belief clearing process, which is what I use this muscle testing for, with somebody. We may clear one thing and we have to kind of clear it from another angle before it's a full no. This belief is no longer true for me, okay? The other technique that is very common that people use, that you can also do very sneakily anywhere, most of the time people won't notice, is to use your body as a yes-no, with moving forward being a yes and moving back being a no. And so just by asking a question like, something that's true or not true, my name's Michelle. You'll notice when you're standing, and I encourage you to stand for this, I'm not right now, but when you're standing, there'll be a natural inclination for your body to move forward if you set that intention. If it's a no, in this case, I'd say my name is Bob, there'd be a natural inclination for the body to start to lean back. That's your no. Very helpful tool. Again, standing in the grocery line, nobody's going to notice. That being said, again, it can be a spectrum. So just listen. Maybe something's more of a yes or more of a no, or somewhere in between. And that can give you a sense of where you are in your subconscious. And with all of these, it's really about, one of the most challenging things that people have with this is overanalyzing it, thinking too hard. So when I first started this, I was terrible at it. I would get mixed messages all the time. But one of my friends really encouraged me to just keep trying and keep at it. And she, again, encouraged me to get out of my head as much as possible. So I did. I did my best to get out of my head and just ask questions all the time of my subconscious. Questions about past lives. Well, that came later, actually. But questions about what feels better on my body, when I was looking at colors for that day. And I'd muscle test. That would be really fun. Muscle testing, just a belief system about when I was younger. Do I think I'm fat? And you'd be surprised, if even though part of you's done all this work on embracing who you are, you might muscle test that, and some of that feels true, or it feels very true. Or that, this was one of mine, I need to be sick in order to get love, in order to be allowed to get love. So that was another one of mine, and that was true. Even though I'd done all this work on self-love and empowerment, and right, it was still active in my subconscious. So it's important for us to do that intellectual understanding work, but it is a whole other level to embody it. So it's really helpful to add in more embodiment practices by first identifying what's still active. then you know, okay, I still got more to work on. And then you can do, techniques like belief clearing, like I do, or there's beautiful techniques like hypnotherapy, somatic body experiencing type techniques, all kinds of things that can help you integrate that awareness that's in your head now and not necessarily has been fully embodied into your beingness, and so into your subconscious ultimately. Okay, so that's the basics of muscle testing. I will have more about all of the fun ways you can use it for the inquiry process. But number one, I encourage you to play, have fun, ask every question you ever could think of to come up with, make notes, and allow that to be this beautiful awareness process that assists you in the awakening to your higher truth, this beautiful path and journey. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to more beautiful conversations with you about different techniques in the integrative soul work process.